Hey, what's up, universe? It's 8:38 p.m. on Monday, July 10th, 2023. So, there's some disturbing world news in a way. I don't know. Depends on how you want to look at it, what you want to make pertain to you. And this feels like a journal I would do back in the day. You know, I used to go to work at a full-time job and then come home every day and literally spend the rest of my time researching the news, not reading the news, researching the news. I would go out and I would actually dig into every article that I read and get into the actual facts behind the story. And I would write an article called, or a journal called The Pessimistic Optimist, and I published it every day, and I would spam some of my friends with it. I'm sure they were super annoyed, and it was a labor of love. Through this process, I learned a lot about the geopolitical landscape, finances, money, this kind of a thing. Today, Andrew Bailey, the governor of the Bank of England, which is the central bank for the United Kingdom, and is the central bank that most central banks are modeled after, including the Federal Reserve, released, it was like an 8-page, I forget, he had some type of announcement, or he perhaps gave a speech somewhere, whatever. I read the PDF because this was posted on LinkedIn, and I had a comment, because I was like, I'm not seeing a difference here, between what this man is talking about and what we're currently dealing with as far as monetary policy that we've been under for, the inception of central banks. Now, here's the problem with central banks, one of many, okay? The primary one being that a central bank is not actually part of the government whatsoever. The Federal Reserve is no more federal than Federal Express. Just because it has the name federal in it does not mean that it is a government body, which in fact it is not. The Federal Reserve is an independent bank that gets to dictate our monetary policy because we no longer create our own money as a country. The Federal Reserve is in charge of that, not our Treasury. That's a problem. Now, the thing that Andrew Bailey was talking about was a CBDC, which is a central bank digital currency, which is funny in and of itself because that's pretty much what we have right now, given that, pretty much every currency on the planet has a digital representation. Sure, we can go to the bank and get paper notes and whatever, but nonetheless, it's all ones and zeros, and it all gets transacted on the SWIFT network, and everything's cool, right? We have a digital currency. Basically, though, what they're trying to say is that what they're looking to implement is, things that will reduce inflation, stability, and all of this kind of thing. And I'm calling bullshit because if you read the PDF, here's where true power lies, especially in anywhere in nature, okay, and especially in fiscal policy. Limits. There's power in limits. Architects know this. People that study nature know this. Everything has a limit. That includes money. This is why gold and silver were, the gold standard. That's why that was a thing. That's why Bitcoin is a thing. There's limits. And if you go read what Andrew Bailey is talking about, limits are not anywhere talked about in this paper. Quite the opposite, in fact. There's more about, quote-unquote flexibility and quote-unquote helping. Now, anybody that studies geopolitics and money policy and things like this, and, Ronald Reagan stated that the 8 most dangerous words in the American language are, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. So it's like, anytime that something is put out there in the guise of oh, we're here to help you, and it's from somebody that isn't basically, from your own family or somebody you trust, if it's from a government body, I would take that with a hefty grain of salt, because there's probably another motivation for that, you know what I mean? True that it may help you in some regard, but it's not altruistic, you know what I mean? So I just want to put that out there, because the reason I even bring that up is because today I was depressed as fuck. Again,
And I just was laying there and I'm like, you know what? What if I had billions of dollars? Would it matter? Would it matter? It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't change what I'm actually upset about. It's my financial situation isn't what I'm upset about. It's not. What I was upset about in my previous videos, and I've said it before, where I was like, this isn't the life or the way that I would like to, that I envision our species living. You know, this isn't to me like our highest version of our species. Because even if I had billions of dollars, if I was Warren Buffett, if I was Bill Gates, if I had the combined influential wealth of Bill Gates and Warren Buffett, it still wouldn't matter. It still wouldn't matter because that's still operating within the sandbox that's been created. You know what I'm saying? The problem is the box that we are operating within. And the problem with that is that we don't get to control that box. We're not in control of that box. And in my mind, that's the problem. That's the problem. And that's what depresses the fuck out of me. Is that right now, as it stands, there's no way for it to get better. There's no way for me, my dream in my head, for us as a species, there's no way for it to happen because we're not the ones in control. You know? And I was just kind of like, and it's been like that for a super, super, super long time. You know what I mean? And there's theories out there about like the human species being engineered as a slave species. I won't necessarily get into all of that, but yet at the same time, it actually fucking resonates with me because I don't understand how else this would fucking work and how this keeps getting perpetuated, you know? Like, so I made a comment on LinkedIn and I was like, hey, maybe I'm missing something, and if I am, please elucidate me. And I put out my idea, my thought, as far as like what I just told you. And there was a financial advisor that responded and was like, man, you ain't missing nothing. He's like, it sounds like you understand money. And I was like, okay, cool, which was a great confirmation and depressing at the same time, because it was like, all right, well. And it's also a little funny because today I also received a letter from, you know, Kansas, from the Department of Tax or whatever, right? And this was another, hey, you owe us money, and if you don't pay us, we're going to do these things, which I received a similar letter probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, whatever. And I'm just like, I'm out, dude. I'm out. I'm tapped out. I'm done. Like, my giving a shit is over because it's not going to fucking matter. It's not going to fucking matter. And so I feel defeated, honestly, if you want to know the truth, because this has been something that's been around for a long ass time. Ooh, this reminds me. I need to ask ChatGPT the difference between, like, maritime admiralty law and common law, I believe. And go look it up for yourself, you know. Ask why every place that is inland that's never been underwater has a high water mark. Everywhere you go that's in Western culture operates under maritime admiralty law. And that's a whole different fucking law. And that's a thing. The world we live in and the illusions that have been sold to us, I'm just kind of done. I'm done playing. You know, I'm done fucking playing. So if people want to know what I want to do, I've wanted to flip this board upside down ever since I learned about it, which was a long time ago. And I think I'm at my wit's end with it. I'm really at my wit's end with it, man. And it's depressing as fuck to me because this isn't about me, man. This is about us. This is about our species. And how the hell, like, crimes against humanity, man. Like, crazy crimes against humanity. So another little bit of disturbing news that I found today, since disturbing news seems to get reactions and people's attention. there was a case in Canada where a gentleman, where two individuals were communicating. I don't know if it was Facebook Messenger or whatever. It doesn't really matter. And there was an agreement between the two, or like an agreement that was being discussed. And one person was selling something to another. I don't remember the exact details, right? And it was like I think it was flax, right? Or flax seed that was being negotiated. Okay, anyway, the seller, the buyer had, I'll put it this way, the buyer had sent like a contract to the seller, and the seller responded with a thumbs up emoji. That was it. Just a thumbs up emoji. Now the purchaser had signed the contract. Well, the Canadian court ruled that the thumbs up emoji was the same as accepting the agreement. And I'm like, whoa. And the whole basis for this was that previous agreements between this buyer and this seller had been executed with the seller responding with like, yep, all right, and like other short little like confirmations, right? So the court was like, hey man, that thumbs up emoji, that was an affirmation, that was a confirmation, that was the same as a digital signature. And I'm like, what the fuck? See you later, DocuSign. Like, what the hell is that? So I found that to be a little absurd, honestly. So word to the wise, I suppose. Before you go throwing around a thumbs up, make sure it's actually something that you fucking agree with. So that's a little crazy. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. Just feeling checked out, disconnected, not giving a shit, not knowing what the fuck is gonna happen, and just otherwise feeling fucking lost, man. It's a good time. So that's pretty much what I got. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. So, there you have it. I guess as a general update, the consulting company with the guy that I've always been talking to from there wants to talk to me tomorrow, so I'm going to chat with him for a little bit. Not sure about what, but we'll find out. So, there you go. There you go. Alright. Well, I love you guys. And thanks for holding space for me. Thanks for listening. Talk to you later. Bye.